Katie.
Hey, Rachel.
And hello, Minnesota parents of students with disabilities. We're really glad you're here to talk with us today. We're going to have a conversation about recovery services. And the reason we're talking about this is because over the summer, the Minnesota legislature passed a law which gives every IEP team in the state a really important job. And that job is to figure out if your child with a disability who has an IEP may need special education recovery services and supports to help them recover from the impacts of the pandemic.
And this is a complex law, and we're all kind of navigating it together, school districts, spacer advocates, parents. And so what we did today is we gathered 5 of the kind of top questions that we're hearing as parent advocates and gave our attempt at an answer and then point towards the law where we're kind of getting that information from. So hopefully this is helpful for you all as you kind of navigate this new phase.
Question number 1.
All right, so the first question, is my school district supposed to invite me to an IEP meeting to talk about whether my child needs special education recovery services and supports?
That's an excellent question. And the answer is yes. The heart of Minnesota's special education recovery services law is school districts collaborating with you parents and thinking creatively about how to help every student with an IEP recover from what they've lost during the pandemic, if they need that support. The law says the starting point for this collaboration must be the school district inviting you to a meeting of your child's IEP team.
So this is just straight from the statute. It says a school district or charter school that serves 1 or more students with disabilities must invite the parents of a student with a disability to a meeting of each IEP team as soon as practicable, but no later than December 1st, 2021, to determine whether special education services and supports are necessary. And I'm just going to pull up the language of the law itself, the full text of the law here.
And you can also find this if you'd like to take some time to read it. You can find it on our website in the page that we created about recovery services, and we'll take you to that page later on.
Question number 2.
So here's our second question. My IEP case manager told me the team has talked and already decided that my child doesn't need recovery services, but I wasn't involved in the decision. Is there anything I can do?
So the answer is yes. The decision about whether your child needs recovery services, it's an IEP team decision. And remember, you are an important member of that IEP team. And you've seen how the pandemic has affected your child's ability to access their education and to benefit from it in ways that the school district might not be aware of because you were there with them throughout the whole thing. And so that's why the law puts decisions about your child's needs for recovery services in the hands of the IEP team as a whole, where your voice can be included and heard. And so if this is a situation you're in, you can ask your IEP case manager to schedule that IEP team meeting with you now. It is definitely not too late.
That's right. And this is, again, the language from the law so that you can see it for yourselves and hear it for yourselves, that school districts and charter schools must collaborate with families of students with disabilities. And if the IEP team determines that services and supports are necessary, the team shall determine what services and supports are appropriate for the student and when and how those services should be provided. The Minnesota legislature puts the IEP team at the center of this very important decision-making process.
By royal decree.
Here's question number 3.
All right, so on to our third question. I went to the IEP team meeting and they told me that my child's IEP progress reports show that they haven't regressed or lost skills. So my child isn't eligible for recovery services. Are there any other ways my child could be eligible?
The answer is yes. The law requires the IEP team to consider more than just your child's progress toward IEP annual goals, regression, or lost skills. but this is a difficult decision to make. So if you can't reach an agreement with the school district about your child's need for recovery services at the IEP team meeting, then ask for a prior written notice that documents the school district refusal of recovery services for your child. Then as a parent, you have the right to object and request a dispute resolution meeting to resolve the disagreement. You have a few options for dispute resolution. We really encourage you to think carefully about what dispute resolution option is most appropriate to help you resolve your disagreement with the school district. You can visit our website where we have an online guide. There is a lot of information. There are a lot of resources here to help you understand the different dispute resolution options you have. And call us, email us if you would like to talk to a PACER parent advocate. We have a whole team of parent advocates that can help you with that process of figuring out which dispute resolution option is most appropriate for you.
Great. So now we're going to take a look at some specific guidance from the Minnesota Department of Education that speaks directly to this question. The determination of whether a student needs special education services and supports due to disruptions related to the pandemic includes additional considerations, not just progress towards IEP annual goals, regression, or lost skills. And this is a quote from a frequently asked questions document produced by the Minnesota Department of Education. We're going to continue to look at a couple more excerpts here. So the IEP team must also consider the services and supports provided to the student before disruptions to in-person instruction related to the pandemic, the ability of the student to access services and supports, the student's progress in the general education curriculum, other significant influences on the student's ability to participate in and benefit from instruction that are related to the COVID pandemic, including family loss, changed family circumstances, other trauma and illness. And then finally, the types of services and supports that would benefit the student and improve their ability to benefit from school. And those, there's a broad range. So those include academic supports, behavioral supports, mental health supports, related services, and other services and supports.
And we want to show you this document from the Minnesota Department of Education. You can find it on their website. They have a whole page dedicated to special education COVID-19 resources. And this is one of the documents that's available there. You can download it or just review it online. There's some very helpful guidance here from the Minnesota Department of Education. And you can also find a link to this document on our PACER website at the page that we've created for you to help you navigate special education recovery services and supports with your child's IEP team. And we'll show you that later. Number 4. So here's our fourth question. I didn't understand before what recovery services were all about, and I missed the chance to have a meeting with my child's IEP team to talk about it. Is there anything I can do about it now?
And the answer is yes. You can talk with your child's IEP case manager, and you can tell them that you've changed your mind and you'd like to schedule an IEP team meeting now to have this discussion. There was a deadline for the school district to invite you to meet with the IEP team to discuss the need for recovery services, but there's no deadline for you to request that meeting if it hasn't happened yet.
We can go back to the guidance from the Minnesota Department of Education in their frequently asked questions to help us understand the answer to this question. As school districts and charter schools are collaborating with families of students with disabilities, this collaboration may include meeting with a student's parents or guardians, even if they initially declined but later accepted the school district or charter school's invitation to meet. And in addition, it's important to remember that a parent or guardian may request that the school district or charter school hold an IEP team meeting at any time. There are a lot of different reasons you might request an IEP team meeting, and we can look again to the frequently asked questions from the Minnesota Department of Education to give us some examples. The school district or charter school must ensure that the student's IEP team reviews and revises the student's IEP as appropriate to address any lack of expected progress toward the student's IEP annual goals or in the general education curriculum, the results of a reevaluation, information about the student provided by the student's parents or guardians, the student's anticipated needs, other matters, and those could be matters related to your concerns about the disruptions of the pandemic and how they impacted your child's access to their education and their ability to benefit from it. Anytime you can request an IEP team meeting to discuss that. The guidance from the Minnesota Department of Education is clear.
Mira, thanks, thank you. Number 5. All right, so our 5th and final question today. I got a letter from my school district saying they are only offering recovery services for 2 weeks this coming summer. From the information they've given me about what the services will look like, I know that they won't work for my child. Can I advocate for other options?
Yes, if you and the school district agree that your child needs recovery services and supports, the law requires the IEP team to individualize them to meet your child's unique needs. And the law does not limit the creative collaboration of school districts and parents in how to figure that out. But you can get stuck there, possibly. So if you can't reach an agreement with the school district about how to appropriately individualize your child's recovery services and supports, ask for a prior written notice that documents the school district proposal. That puts the ball in your court. As a parent, you have the right to object and request a dispute resolution meeting to resolve the disagreement. And remember, when it comes to deciding what dispute resolution option you feel most confident with, you can always call us here at Pacer Center. We have a whole team of parent advocates that can walk you through that. And there are a lot of resources that we have online for you that we've created that you can look at first.
Okay, so we will take a look at what the law says. It says the services and supports, and again, these are the recovery services and supports, may include but are not limited to extended school year services, additional IEP services, compensatory services, or other appropriate services. And when considering how and when the services and supports should be provided, the IEP team must take into account the timing and delivery method most appropriate for the student, such as the time of day of the week, the time of the year, and also the availability of other services accessible to the student to address learning loss. And the IEP team may determine even that providers, in addition to the school district or charter school staff, are most appropriate to provide the services and supports. So very broad range of options to consider.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Katie and I have really enjoyed this conversation with you, and we hope that you have found something valuable to take with you on your journey through this process of determining your child's potential need for special education, recovery services, and supports. We encourage you to visit our website, and we're going to take you now to the section that we've created about this new Minnesota law, supporting students post-pandemic. And you'll find a couple pages that Pacer advocates worked very hard to create for parents. The first page is dedicated to information and resources to help you understand the law. And then the second page is a tool that we've created to help you prepare for your IEP team meeting, where your child's potential need for special education recovery services and supports will be determined through your discussion with your IEP team.
And for a one-on-one conversation with a Pacer parent advocate about recovery services for your child, you can always reach out to us. You can call us or email us. We'd love to hear from you. And whether you found us through YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or our website, we just want to thank you. We're so glad you were here with us, and we've had a great time.